Hello, everyone, and welcome into the Proverbs 31 Woman. Can I say that this morning started out very interesting? I got on here to record and I thought I was live. What can I say? It's all right to print to hit the redo button, right? To go ahead and start all over again. Well, here I am. And I want to talk with you today about the roof code because I'm going to jump right in because it was real good to me. So, Ruth was one of the women whose loyalty opened the door to generational legacy. Many of you sit in the seat right now that is changing your generations, is creating legacy, and is doing some amazing things. And so I want to, first of all, start this session today by encouraging you to continue to keep going and show up like you've never shown up before. Like, leave your mark on whatever it is that you're doing. Just like how we all have our own individual signature. Yeah, this is the opportunity that you get to make sitting in the seat that you hold today with your leadership, your responsibilities, as well as the things that are entrusted to your hands. So you want to make sure that you are doing that and you're showing up in a major way. Now, Ruth chapter 1, verses 16 says, or verse 16 says, "And Ruth said, Entreat me not to leave thee, or to return from following after thee. For whither thou goest, I will go. Thy people shall be my people, and thy God my God." Can I put some emphasis here, right? Put a pin in that because there's some things that's been trying to push you away, that's been buffeting your flesh to tell you to go back from where you came from because you're not needed here. In the workplace, whether you are the owner of the business, the CEO, there's going to be some things that's going to challenge you. I said last week, challenge your challenge. Whatever that is, go right to it, right? That's the main area that you need to spend some time and make sure that you are working in those areas so that way it brings about divine alignment. So, in our lesson on today, we see here that Ruth's alignment, loyalty, and strategic positioning allowed her to do some things that some people only dream about. They never get the opportunity to actually do it because let's just face it, we give up before we get the opportunity to even get to the finish line. This is not one of those stories where it's going to be like, hang in there. No, I'm saying hang all the way in there. Make sure that you are showing up every single opportunity that you get the opportunity to do so. So, Ruth's story is one of the clearest examples of how a woman can embody the Proverbs 31 principles without ever being mentioned in Proverbs itself. Now, I know that we've been talking about Proverbs chapter 31, but I am understanding that all throughout the Bible, there were some major players in there, some major women that showed up and changed history, that literally left their mark. We have that same opportunity to do that also. We just need to make sure that we are on our assignment to the best of our ability. So we see here that Ruth was not born into privilege. She was not from Israel. And matter of fact, she was a Moabite, an outsider by cultural and religious standards. I'm sure that some of you are starting to get the picture, right? Some people say, you don't belong here. That's the main place that you need to be. Oh, you don't know our process. Well, learn it. Things are not working out the way that it should. Well, change it, right? You are there because there is yet an assignment that is attached to you that you need to fulfill. So while you're there, you might as well make it look good in a way that somebody else that tries to come in won't be able to duplicate your excellence, right? They can do their own level of excellence, but you do yours. So yet through Ruth's choices, she positioned herself into one of the greatest generational legacies in scripture. And it was the lineage of King David and ultimately Jesus Christ. What made Ruth so extraordinary was not wealth, beauty, or status, it was her alignment. And after the death of her husband, Ruth faced some major uncertainty. She could have returned back to familiarity, to safety, or culture comfort. Instead, she chose covenant over convenience. And in scripture, we see that she said, "Whether thou goest, I will go." That's the attitude that you need to have in this season. We have been able to see that some things are just not for us, let alone by us. If that is the case, do something now that is going to help you to reposition that, because we know that we carry the light. And because we carry the light, when we show up, we need to make sure that we are representing the kingdom properly. You don't always have to say, "Oh, I'm a Christian, I'm saved, I'm from, Jesus Christ is my daddy." No, you don't always have to say that, but you can carry yourself in such a way that the favor shines through, honey, that that you are a part of the kingdom. And we know that being a part of the kingdom carries a high level of excellence, right? So this was more than loyalty to Naomi, but it was a prophetic alignment to the plan that God had for her life. A Proverbs 31 woman understands that destiny is often unlocked not by what you chase, but by who and what you align with. Can I just say, check those alignments? Make sure that it is aligning with what you're supposed to be doing. Because sometimes we can throw the whole plan off just by being in alignment. But let's talk about Ruth's turning point for just a moment. Faithful movement without full understanding is a real thing. And you need to understand that because it is a real thing, don't find yourself just sitting back waiting on somebody to come and tell you to move to the next space, but do it yourself. Take action. Ruth did not know what awaited her in Bethlehem. She had no guarantee or provision. There was no marriage on the other side that was being set up for her, or restoration, yet she walked forward anyway. Hmm. When you are going forward, you're not going to always have step here, go 2 paces to the right, go 3 paces to the left, make a U turn and come back. There's not a GPS set up to say you're on the right path. However, you will sometimes know in your heart of hearts that you are doing the right thing. So, as you are moving forward, continue to just evaluate what it is that you're doing on a regular basis to make sure that you're still in alignment. So, this reveals one of the greatest edges, though, that gave the Ruth code something to stand on. Ruth moved in faith without needing full clarity. And when she arrived, she didn't just sit in despair, she went to work. That's game changing in itself. Don't just get there and still question things. Go there and get to work, right? Ruth chapter 2, verse 2 says, "Let me now go to the field and glean ears of corn." Going to a cornfield, like personally, I've never done it. I've seen it done. I know the process of doing it, but that was just not my path, right? But gleaning was not glorious because it meant that there was some hard work involved. And it was humble labor for her, picking up leftover grain behind the harvesters, right? I don't know about you, but sometimes I feel like, I need that VIP service. But with Ruth, she was picking up somebody else's leftovers. It shows up in the workplace where you got to go in and you got to clean up behind somebody else, meaning it's not always a mess, but it could be emotional baggage that you're going in and you're cleaning up. It could be leadership damage that was there that you're going in and you're cleaning up. Even in the business, when things don't go right, you have to go in and you have to clean it up. That's all right. That is the humble pathway. But in order for us to be effective leaders, we got to be good at serving. We got to be good at doing the work. We got to be good by leading by example. So, purpose is often hidden inside small, faithful actions. And when people see that you show up, now they're wanting to help you, right? And scripture says in Ruth chapter 2, verse 3, it says, her hap was to light on a part of the field belonging to Boaz. Can I say that that's where the favor starts to jump in, right? Favor starts to come in now because she was in a special part of the field. Now, you're in your special place at work, in your community, being the CEO and the business owner, there's a special place. This wasn't convenient, but this was divine positioning. And you have been positioned to stand out. You're positioned to make a difference. You're positioned to make impact and influence. So, what made Ruth stand out was number one is that she chose covenant over comfort. So, Ruth left her familiarity to pursue her faith. She followed God before she understood the outcome. Follow God before you understand the outcome. Follow God before you understand the outcome. That just even saying that makes sense and it feels good because some of us are still waiting and we're still in a holding position trying to figure out what our next is, and God said all you need to do is just continue on the path that I've already put before you, and I'll make it known to you, right? Like he'll illuminate it as we're going down. So number two is Ruth worked with excellence in hidden places. Your work is not always going to be on blast, right? Everybody's not going to always give you credit for helping them or doing the things that you do. Oh yeah, they'll do it. They'll do it in the background, but not openly in public. They won't always do that. And when you understand that that is a part of how all of this works, you will work without the need to have validation, the need to have thank you and the atta girls or the atta boys. You'll continue to just keep going. So this is where you now get the opportunity to make a difference. Before she became a bride, she was faithful in the field, meaning that she did the work first. When you do the work first, the money, the recognition, all of that is a byproduct of good products and services. So she wasn't concerned about that. She was like, first of all, we need to eat. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to get what's left over and we're going to eat real good. Before elevation comes preparation. So make sure that you're preparing yourself for your next. Number three, she positioned herself strategically. Under Naomi's wisdom, Ruth followed divine protocol, approaching Boaz with humility, honor, and discernment. There's some people that know a little bit more than what you know. I know that there's a lot of people that know a lot more than what I know, and I'm open to following the instructions. I'm open to following after their wisdom because they just didn't get there where they are just by accident. You don't just fall into generational wealth. You don't just fall into the comforts of your work, right? You literally do work, then you get money, right? That's kind of how our society is set up. So why not go all in? Right. So Ruth didn't manipulate her destiny. She aligned with it. So the Ruth code here is loyalty unlocks your legacy. So you want to make sure that you are staying true to your assignment. Ruth's power was relational intelligence and unwavering faithfulness. That is a superpower. Relational intelligence and unwavering faithfulness. Yes. When you have that superpower, you can conquer mountains, right? And so here with Ruth, we see that because of her loyalty, she entered covenant redemption through Boaz. And he was a kingsman redeemer, right? Like he gave people the opportunity to make things right, and he helped them along the way. Number two is that she moved from poverty to provision, like literally overnight, right? It was a process getting there, but once she got there, everything changed just like that. And for many of you, you're 1 to 2 moves away from the sky opening up to you, right? To your true breakthrough. And number three, she became the great grandmother of King David. So can you imagine being in that lineage where you don't have to think about where the next meal is going to come from, the money to pay the bills, the next client is going to come from? It will change some things for you. So her story teaches us that generational wealth and legacy often flow through covenant relationships. And of course, I like to give it in a alignment or a comparison between Proverbs 31 and also the Ruth code, right? So we see the first thing is that the Proverbs 31 trait is that Ruth had virtuous character, and her virtuous character allowed her to then apply it with loyalty and integrity from the Ruth code, and the two converged, right? She was literally practicing the things that was laid out there in Proverbs 31 as far as having the virtuous character. And that allows you to really set yourself apart when people see that you are loyal and people a person of integrity. Yes, that goes a long way and it sets you apart light years a lot of times. Number two is that the Proverbs 31 trait here is that she showed up with diligence. Well, in the Ruth code, the comparison here is that she worked faithfully in the field, being a business owner, being a leader, whether you're the CEO, the COO, the CIO, the CTO, the CHO, all the C's, right? In the C suite, it is not for the faint of heart, right? Because a lot of the burden of responsibility comes back to you. Can I just say, be the leader party of one and show up until you can lead others, right? Until you can build up your impact and your influence. Continue on the journey and do the work. Don't question it. And for some of us, we need to go back and redo our first works over again. Why? Because it became cloudy, it became messy, some chaos set in along the way. Whatever has come in to change some things for you, be sure that you're following after that which is right. Now, the next part of this is number three is going to be wisdom. And that's the Proverbs 31 trait. Well, the Ruth code is that she followed Naomi's counsel. Can I just say that we don't always know everything, right? I am positioned to listen to counsel, right? Being a business owner, you need, a lawyer, an accountant, a banker. Somebody said just the other day that you need bail money, right? Bail money is the banker, that's the attorney, that's some insurance, and the L was creating your legacy, right? Make sure you got all your paperwork together and all of that. Well, that in itself struck a chord, and it really allowed me to go to the next level as far as my business goes. So, same thing with you. You have to make sure that you are positioning yourself to now see that there's a difference. Now, let's talk about this Proverbs 31 trait, legacy builder. The other part to this is that she entered the lineage of kings. Now, what are you doing to position yourself to enter in your legacy, right? What are you doing to make sure that those that are following after you is definitely going to make a difference? Thank you so much for all of you that have joined in on this morning. I see your comments, poverty to provision. Yes, this is what we're doing. We are positioning ourselves to show up in ways that we haven't done so before because we understand our assignment. And when you understand what your assignment is, you're not going to take down and be average or be mediocre. I am quite often saying, do the most when you show up, give 110%. And some people may say, well, I'm giving 110% and it looks like you're doing the most. Let them talk, right? Because this is how you get the opportunity to make a difference and show people that average doesn't get you anywhere. Being mediocre doesn't get you anywhere. Matter of fact, I want to challenge somebody on today because you've been showing up and you've only been doing 30, 40%, knowing good and well that that's not your max, that you took on an assignment, and that assignment says that you are responsible for now what has been placed into your hands, whatever that is. Handle it with kid gloves, right? And show others that they can do the same way as well. So I have three things that I want to give you to apply the Ruth code. Number one is audit your alignment. Who you walk with determines where you arrive. Surround yourself with voices that move you toward your purpose and not comfort. It does not always feel good when you got to go in and do the work, right? For some of us, we're at the point of where we want somebody else to do the work for us. Well, until it comes, do the work to the best of your ability, right? Be excited about the responsibility that has been placed into your hands, whether that's at home, whether that's at work, whether that's in the business, whether that is, towards others, whatever it is, do it to the best of your ability. Number two, honor the small assignments. Do not underestimate your humble beginnings. The field that you're in today may be the doorway to divine elevation. Remember, some of you only need 1 to 2 moves in order for you to experience significant breakthrough. So those things that you have on your to-do list that you're saying that this is going to help me to be better, to do better, to have more, do that today, right? Pick one and start there. Number three is practice covenant loyalty. Faithfulness in relationships creates spiritual doors that ambition alone cannot open. It will definitely make a difference when you show up differently, but also when you're faithful to whatever it is that you're going to do. I am going to tell you that every day is not going to be your best day, and that's okay. You have the opportunity to change that and to do differently. So make sure that you are being serious with your assignment and you're faithful to that call. And of course, I want you to spend some time in your journaling. Why? Because journaling allows you to be able to get your thoughts out there. To, some of us, we don't want to put our nakedness out there in front of people. It's a great way for you to be able to spend some time in reflection of those areas that need some work. So number one for your journal prompt is, where is God calling me to step out of comfort and into covenant alignment? Only you know what that is. Spend some time there and allow the Lord to give you the wisdom on what it is that you need to work on so that you can go through it. Number two is, what small assignments am I overlooking that I may be positioning me for future breakthrough? Those small assignments, don't overlook it. The phone calls you need to make, the emails you need to send, the text messages that you need to respond to. Go ahead and work on those areas. And number three, who has God placed in your life as a Naomi, someone whose wisdom that you need to honor? You know who that is. I quite often like to say coffee goes a long way. Uh, Cards uh, definitely allows you to show the person how you really appreciate them, and then pay it forward, right? Paying it forward says that, you know what, I want to do something special on today to make sure that I am honoring those that are making a difference in my life. And sometimes we need to go back to the age old adage where it says it takes a village. Sometimes that could be more than one person. Even if that is the case, be sure that you are showing up differently. Okay. Our affirmation for today is this: be sure that you're ready and repeat after me. I walk in divine alignment. Like Ruth, my loyalty positions me for favor, my diligence opens doors, and my obedience activates generational legacy. That's right, your obedience, what you do, how you do it, when you do it, and what you do it for is that generational legacy. So be sure that you're showing up in a great way. Our word for the week is alignment. Favor flows where obedience and positioning meets. I'm going to say that again because that was real good. Favor flows where obedience and positioning meets. Obedience, positioning, they meet, and then comes the favor. So make sure that you're in alignment in those areas as well. And our scripture for meditation this week is going to be Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 and 6. And it says, trust in the Lord with all thy heart and lean not into thy own understanding, and in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Many of you are doing some amazing things. Be sure that you continue to show up in your awesomeness 110%. Don't let anybody take you down from it. Just know that you're doing things that's going to change generations and allow you to be able to create a generational legacy. It has been my pleasure. Continue to join in every single week that I'm going to continue to keep sharing until because I understand that this is some really good information. So thank you for all your texts, your DMs, your messages that says you're enjoying this information. If there's something that you would like for me to talk about or to share about, I am open to that as well. Just send me a message. But I look forward to joining in with you again on next week. Have a super amazing day. Take care.